Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. Today, this is a game from Group B. No, Group A. This is from Group A, and this is a series between me, JaggedAppliance, and Turbo2, the American player. One of the newest of the top guys, I would say. Not sure if, what's the timeline, I'm not sure, but he's probably one of the newest for sure. So Group A, the other players of Group A were Patrick and Foden. It was supposed to be Mr. Smith, but Mr. Smith couldn't be there for the tournament, so Foden stepped in as a backup. So it was Patrick, myself, Turbo, and Foden in Group A, and that's quite important for the setup because it makes this particular best of three a very important series, because obviously Patrick is going to be the clear favorite to go out of the group for sure. Foden is obviously a massive underdog to leave this group, as he's up against 3 strong 1v1 players, and he is not as strong. More of a team game player. And so this series is between the second and third favorites, in whichever order you put us. I think we're pretty even, probably. I mean, definitely pretty even. So it's a very important series for the outcome of the group. And the first map is Adaptive Kusoga. We sort of missed the builds, but it's not too important. Basically, you send the initial engineers to the hydrocarbon, the ACU sticks around and builds, and we get some reclaim as well. There's rocks in various locations around the base. You can see both of us doing similar stuff. Grab some mass on your way to expand, and yeah, get your transport going as well. So here's I guess that's the first difference we see. I have a transport in straight away. Now this map is made by Patrick, actually. 20 by 20 map. And it's just a land map. I mean, there's a couple of ponds. You can technically, fit Navy in there. Maybe we'll get some sick games in the future where Navy gets built in that pond. I hope so, but I mean, this pond, there's obviously a lot less to control over here, but yeah, it's a land map with a lot of mexes. Not that much reclaim, but it's there. For example, these are sniper bots, I believe. They look like Aeon snipers to me. And also in the middle of the map we have civilians. You can see most of the civilian stuff there is anti-air. So this is sort of to stop people from rushing across and ending up in that scenario where it's a random rock paper scissors effect of, if I rush a transport and he rushes an inti, then I lose. If he rushes a transport and I don't rush a transport, then the guy with the transport wins, and then, like, maybe we'll both end up rushing transports. Something like that. It turns into a random chance game at the opening. So the anti-air prevents that, because then you just simply can't rush an anti across. I mean, you can fly around, but then that's going to slow you down enough that most likely you don't catch the transport or anything. So I'm pretty sure that's the intention anyway. So I went straight for transport. Turbos comes out a bit later. You can see he's expanding quite quickly to a lot of mechs. One engineer in this major expansion here, which is, you know, a bit further away than it may otherwise be thanks to this cliff face. I'm sending 2 in that direction and dropping to the south and the east. And also, I think this is quite important here, this mass I'm gaining for free. Now, I don't know if I had played this map before in a competitive game. I think I hadn't. So it's quite a new map. I don't know if Turbo had either. I did just play around a little bit in a sandbox in preparation, which is fine as preparation, I would say. Playing games can be well, the problem is if you're gonna play against people you may be playing in a tournament, then maybe that's not the best preparation, and maybe offline just small amount of sandboxing is preferable, but depends on the player, I think. I generally am fine with just a little bit of sandboxing, not to have an amazing perfect build or anything, but just to get familiar with the map in general. So I'm walking forward with the ACU here. Turbo's still in his base doing a lot of building. He's making a lot of T1 land. And I'm getting raided in this expansion here by his T1 land. He does seem to have quite a few more units. I'm trying to get some land spam set up in this expansion. PD may have been called for here. There's a lot of tanks heading directly towards this expansion right now, and I'm continuing to drop around. You can see there's some plateaus on the top side. The top and the left of the map here, which are, I mean, they're quite nice to have. And we also have, well, these plateaus here don't have any mechs on them, but they do have a decent bit of reclaim. And up here we have a plateau and a plateau here. Now I have a plan going into this game already. I know what I'm doing, and that is I'm just going to T3 land. Now I won't say as fast as possible because, you know, I mean more or less as fast as possible, I would say, but not, well, not really. We want to get there significantly faster than Turbo, and we want to make Titans, and we want to send our Titans everywhere. Now before that, of course, we have to make sure we're trying to get as much map control as possible at the start, try to get as much mass as we can, protect ourselves from raids. Uh-oh, we got raided here. 5 kills on this tank. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do in this map. It's very difficult to play. There's just mass everywhere. Mexes to defend in all locations. Mexes to attack, of course, as well. And it's difficult to defend everywhere. Which is why I think it's better to attack. You can't really sit back and defend on this map, I would say. Or at least, I don't think it's the easiest way to play. I think you want to make sure you're doing damage, putting your opponent under pressure, rather than trying to simply soak up the opponent's pressure. So, Yeah, here's why I say not as fast as possible. We're at 9 minutes 30. I could, you know, if we were going ASAP, maybe I could have T3 land already. That would be possible, I guess. But we're only moving to T3 land now. We get a couple of engineers out so that we can make T2 power. And we start going, and we have a decent amount of assistance. We look at the eco, can I afford it? Yeah, we're not stalling at the moment. We will want to make it PGen, of course, so that's not great. And we did just get raided quite heavily here, sadly. So this is a big reason why I don't have mass for my T3 land. We did manage to defend over here, which is quite good. Get some reclaim, try and raid here. Looks like we'll raid this position. And overall, we are doing pretty well. We have more total mass right now. I think reclaim is probably a big factor in that. It is. And generated mass is now slightly in Turbo's favor after some of those raids, especially, well, this raid especially. Okay, we dropped here to re-expand. Are we going to bomb ourselves? Oh, we avoid bombing ourselves. That's good. So, it's important to have a plan. Very important to have a plan. It's important to have a good plan. But it's more important to have any plan, I would say. So, we just aim straight for T3 land, spam titans everywhere, attack everywhere, as I said, because defending is hard. And see what Turbo does. See if he has a better plan. Turbo has T2 air now, and he has T2 land, and we are also making T2 air now that T3 land is almost complete. Do have, you know, can afford these things now that we have a T2 PGen. T2 land also going to be extremely good on this map. Again, it's very spread out, gives us access to nice gunships. Janus probably not going to be used because there's probably not going to be gigantic T1 armies to carpet bomb. We are getting raided here once again. PD in this position, like PDs are quite necessary. This is going to be a brutal loss, honestly. We are doing our own damage, but that doesn't mean it's okay to lose your expansion just because you killed your opponents. It's still not good. Some random Lobos reaching my base now. So we're at T3. Here come the Titans, and then we look at Turbo's base, and he's not started his T3 upgrade yet. Now in terms of T2 air, he is does he have gunships yet? Doesn't look like it. I'm losing my gunships for free, it seems. That's not great. So the gunships are very useful here. I mean, attacking, they'll probably die without doing that much damage, honestly. However, in defense, they should be pretty effective, and the Titans will be the main attacking force. Also, we should expect that T3 air will also come not too long after T3 land. Again, the size of the map dictates that higher tech, faster, and more expensive units are going to be a better option at an earlier point in the game than on a smaller map, because we have more time to invest. That's basically, we have more time to invest, and we have more resources available to us to invest. So right now we have 7 Titans. We can see already T3 land is half our army. Still have like 60 T1 tanks. They can just, they're still useful at this point. I don't know when they'll stop being useful, probably, but right now, just to have units in various locations is quite good. You can see here the problem of attention and APM, you just get bombed out of places far too quickly for your small brain to react. So we just got bombed to death here. Okay, we managed to get out a couple anti-air. And again, you know, defending is hard, attacking is easy. You can attack with a move order. Defending, you need a lot more move orders, I think. You can attack with a rally point from a factory, actually. That's how attacking works. So Turbo, probably seeing my T3 land. Has T3 land now as well, and he's making, you guessed it, Titans. Why would you make Percy's on this map when, you know, it's so large? The Percy that you make will take forever to get anywhere useful unless you are investing in, you know, T2 transports, and then, you know, you get shot out of T2 transports. It's a big waste, and here we wasted 3 T2 gunships here. Kind of what I'm saying, where attacking with the gunships is probably not going to be that effective. They're getting some damage done. This one, for example, doing alright. Still a lot of T1 production from Turbo out of his main base. Random bombers arrive in my base. This guy is gonna get a 5th kill. And I have a T3 NG out. I guess I'm gonna be making PGen soon. Hopefully, like right now. Stop wasting time. And hopefully I'll move the 5 Titans out of my base and off to somewhere useful. So you see I have them spread out in all locations. Trying to raid everywhere. We're losing more stuff to random bombers. Players have learned from Zlo to make these T1 bombers that just get so many passes before they get killed. They're quite effective and just a throwaway suicide unit. We're also investing in T2 mexes outside the base. Somehow I have T1 mexes in my base, but T2 in storage over here. So we want to, well, we also have a T3 support factory. So we want to make sure that we have secure economy on this map. So the main base is going to be secure. It's going to be pretty secure. So we should be going there as we are, except for these these ones. Then we want to pick the next location where it's going to be safe for us to eco. And this is the location I've chosen. It's, you know, I think it's a reasonable place. He doesn't really get much advantage from attacking anywhere up here. He has to get all the way back to the corner. It's quite far away, and the whole front is in the way, unless he wants to go around the side, which again is a very long route. So I think this is a good location to defend. Over here he can kind of run straight here through the middle. He can also put pressure here and then follow up with attempt to get past into this expansion. So, and this was already less secure at the time, so I just went for this location. So you don't want to probably make mexes in various locations. Over here we got a very important raid. I think that guy had 2,500 mass killed, so we got a couple of, well, looks like we got 3 Titans in here and killed 4 T2 mexes here. These were really big kills, and now we're sending more Titans into that location to try and take it out. So you can see that those T2 mexes were really just a target for my Titans, and without, I don't know, you can see even the gunships that react take a long time to take out the Titans, even though he has 6 gunships here. So he sort of created a target, I guess, for my Titans to attack into. If my Titans just had a lot of T1 mexes to kill, it'd probably be less effective. This Titan's getting bombed to death, sadly. So many T1 bombers. Then this is a bit of a bad place to move with the Titans, but there we go. T1 land is pushing forward in the middle, and again, just keep attacking. More Titans sent into another expansion. This one's down, so on to the next. And you can see both of us are having extreme problems holding on to our expansions. All of these engineers around here died to T1 bombers, by the way. Really well played by me. Here we have some Titan getting into my base. Again, it's super low HP, but it's got its shield back. And he's attacking my mechs. Over here, we actually ran some T1 units all the way through the middle, under the shield, killed the shields, and then did useless amount of damage to various P-gens. He has his T3 P-gen now, and he has T3 air as well, but he has lost his top expansion. This T2 support factory going down is quite nice. It's pretty useful build power that he lost there. And some PD trying to defend. And anti-air static defenses, when you feel you're in these games where you're just overwhelmed by, there could be attacks in all directions, just invest in static defenses, I would say. I mean, do it cleverly, don't invest massively, don't over-invest. But, you know, if I made some T2BDs here, if I could have made a fire base here with T1 PD and T2 PD, that cuts off a major choke, and it also means I have time to react. It means I can get units across there if necessary. It means he has to invest a lot of units to get past, so static defenses would have been good. A couple of T2PDs is really all that's needed, most likely. Maybe, you know, 1 and 2 here, some PD here perhaps. Here you would hope that this wouldn't be under so much pressure that you need PDs, but because I've lost this, you can see Turbo's reclaimed this, then maybe some static defenses there would have been good. So at this point, the major difference was basically we took out this expansion as soon as those mechs are upgraded, more or less, and we've kept a lot of our upgraded eco here. And meanwhile, we've also done a lot of raiding on this expansion, and it all comes from the faster tech and just following the plan. So all I did, I watched a game between, I think it was Turin and Tagada, and one of the only games that had been played on this map, and I think Turin just rushed Titans immediately and just spammed Titans everywhere, and I looked at it and thought, yeah, that seems completely degenerate, but also pretty hard to deal with. So let's, you know, that was as good a plan as I had, and as good a plan as I needed. Just rush Titans, spam them everywhere. And also, well, initially make a transport as soon as I have an air factory, second air, first transport, and start dropping and expand quickly. And it is, I mean, you know, just a simple idea like that is really all you need. So at this point, I am quite far ahead, well ahead on economy. You can see I am continuously killing this, re-killing it, patrolling Titans in different locations to defend. They all have 1,000 mass killed here, so they've all done insane work. On this side, we're trying to retake some of the plateaus here that Turbo has stolen back from us. We've lost this expansion completely, so again, we want to, you know, get some drops away, retake them, and also we've moved to T3 air, of course. as you have to. At this point, Turbo may be ahead in T3 air. Let's see what he has. He has 8 ASF. He catches 3 rhinos and a T2 transport. It's pretty sad loss of units here. And I do the classic, leave your ASF in the middle of the field and dare your opponent to come and kill them. That's my classic mistake on every 20x20 map. You may have noticed from watching my ditch games, especially. So, yeah, but we are quite far ahead at this point. See, at this point the strategy has, you know, it's done more than it could have been expected to do. We're just way ahead, more total mass, and so at this point you just consolidate, continue to eco efficiently, roll the economic lead, make sure you never fall behind in units, and at this point, after losing some air, we need to increase air production and also protect against possible air attacks. Okay, these are some flags. I don't know if these are really a good idea, but at this point I knew I was quite far ahead, so we're going to speed it up so we won't just hang around. He re-expands, but he has no defenses, so once again he raids, or we raid him, he raids us, and it kind of continues like this for a while, where it's just Titans being spammed across the map, and it's a fight to get good trades. Like here, this is a good trade for us. That was a bad trade up here. Trying to get the best trades you can, do the most raiding you can, and then on top of that, get the reclaim. That's it. Raid, trade, and reclaim. There you go. New slogan. So that's where all your attention should go, aside from you know, smart ecoing. So here we've recycled the T2 gens. We don't recycle the T1 because that will be too intelligent. We just recycle the T2, takes less clicks. Also, having the T3 production in this is really important for defensive purposes. Also, we need extra production, but it was important to make the first support factory in the expansion where you want to be ecoing for defensive purposes and access to not just unit production, but access to, say, T3 tech. So if there was if he was rushing T3 air, then we would have some access to T3 mobile anti-air in this location, and SAMs as well from T3 engineers. So nasty attack coming in here. He has his units on max priority, so he's just running in and raiding the shit out of us. This is where, you know, a couple T2 PDs would save maybe a few mexes here, and we get a really good fight in the T3 air somehow, which is, it shouldn't have happened. I think it just Turbo is lacking vision because he's on the other side of the map, so we actually got a good turn. We got good micro because we have radar and he does not. There's no T3, there's no spy plane here. And then after we get that, we sort of think, oh, maybe we have more, but yeah, I think it goes quite badly quite soon. Where did that T3, where did the strap bomber go? Did I kill it? I've lost it. But yeah, catch a couple more ASF here, and then I think we lose the air fight as we fly into Inties, and also he simply just has more ASF. We're both just attack moving, which is disappointing, but you know, on a map like this, there's a lot to be done. So we lost almost every T2 mech here, sadly. But they've been up for quite a while. We can replace those. We were never in danger of losing the expansion to those Titans. Only getting raided. So we can just rebuild. Upgrade them again. Trying to be annoying over here with some random spam. There's a ton of Titans here, which is not ideal for Turbo. He'd rather they were doing something else more useful. But yeah, at this point we're still, you know, now we have 50k more mass, so in total, so we should never be behind. Let's increase our air production, take T3 air control. That's the last thing that Turbo has in his advantage, really, is the T3 air control. So let's get that back, and then he really won't have much of anything. And of course we need to regain our... Oh, there's the strap bomber. Yeah, okay, he hit it in the corner here. So yeah, regain the expansions. Upgrade the mechs again. Make a T3 mechs. Yeah, there's T3 mechs. Very important to get that first one up. And yeah, not much to say anymore, honestly, because the lead is pretty big at this point. And it's basically formality. But again, it's still all the same stuff. Get good trades. Put your units in the right place. Some T1 units being useful still at 35 minutes here. T1 tanks. I heard another strap bomber. Maybe it was this one. Turbo does have a few strats, so what could Turbo do at this point? I mean, I feel like he could just build a lot of strats and try and snipe me. That would be a good play, because I mean, at this point he does have, like, he's never been able to eco anywhere but in his core base, and he does have T3 air. He won the T3 air fight, but he's so far behind on economy. Although units are probably quite similar. 66 Titans is a big number. We have 69, so that's quite interesting. And we lose. Another drop. It's a waste of time. Good catch from Turbo. And yeah, I think maybe just building a lot of strats and going for a snipe would be good for him. Alternatively, he really has to kill, like, this expansion. Like, kill it, not just raid it. He's raiding it pretty well, although he's taking, wow, 4,000 mass killed on both those guys. But he took a really long time to actually start raiding this, and now when he does, he is raiding quite well. But yeah, I guess he really needed to maybe kill this expansion properly rather than simply raiding. You can see he actually made some T2 mexes here again, and once again immediately it just gets raided. Looks like he doesn't have radar coverage. Oh no, he does. He has an Omni. Maybe he just finished that. But yeah, we have Omni as well. We probably took too long making our Omni, I would say. Wait, do we have Omni? Yeah, we do. So yeah, maybe just strat snipe. Classic strat snipe, it's almost always an option. At this point in the game. He can just stop his T3 land production for a bit. He won't even really be behind in units that much, and just go for the snipe. Maybe even group up all the Titans and run towards the base as well with the strat snipe. So he's adding a few Percies in. Percies are going to be nice, I mean, for defensive purposes. Maybe a couple of Titan or Percy's could have been good over here for me as well. To defend. But yeah, at this point it's getting more over, not less. He's not catching up, he's falling behind at this point. And I don't think it goes on too much longer. But yeah, in a map like this, sometimes it's not totally clear. Well, it's hard to give the killing blow to your opponent without risking throwing the game away. I mean, as you saw, we had basically the same number of Titans at that point when I checked. We both had like 60 something. Now I have 92 and he has, you know, 82. He still has a very similar army, so. But the game is quite over. So he throws in the towel there. I mean, the eco difference was just going to grow from here. Probably the easiest way for me to win, safest way, is just to make a nuke or something. And there'd be pretty much nothing he can do. So that was game one. Really important to get a good start in this best of 3 series. As I said, this is basically the most important series for me and also for Turbo, because Patrick's a favorite and there's only 2 people who leave the group, or who rather qualify out of the group. So we're 1-0 and we move to the second map. This map was my choice. The next map is Turbo's. At least that's how I remember it. So let's go check it out now. Alright, Badlands. So I did forget to say at the start of the previous map that if you want to see the POV, then you can check out the stream on my channel. And you could maybe even, if you prefer, listen to this while watching the POV. But I'm casting from the replays because it gives me more freedom in showing what happened in the game, and also probably better video quality. But if you prefer from the POVs, maybe we can do that for other games. Let me know if you'd rather have me cast over the POV. So for now, Badlands were both UEF again. UEF is you're gonna see it a lot in these particular videos, I will say. I did end up picking a lot of UEF. Actually, I think every game I picked UEF. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, no, not every game in the tournament I picked UEF, but a lot of games. So Badlands, why did I pick UEF on Badlands? Because I like their T2 stage and the ACU and the T3 stage. Yes. But mainly it's to do with the ACU and the T2 stage. Now obviously a lot of those, the advantages and disadvantages aren't so important when you're in a mirror matchup, but they are still nice to play. I like the options at T2, the unit mix. And yeah, let's see. So made a couple of P-gens, go to the hydrocarbon after the factory, 2 P-gens, 4 mexes, walk to the hydro. First engineers at the hydrocarbon as well, making things, and we make a factory after the hydro, make some more pigeons, and start spamming factories, and then only then move on to the second hydrocarbon. Otherwise, we're going to probably waste power if you make the second hydro too fast. You don't really need it immediately. So we're also making quite a few engineers, like we're making extra engineers out of this factory. Might make some out of this factory, and more engineers means less tanks, but it means faster expansion. More build power building mexes, more build power building power and factories. So now we move to the next hydro. This isn't like a super planned build or anything. It's just a function of watching a couple of players do things and then adapting it on the fly. So you can see we are doing okay, but not enough reclaim here in the around these central craters. So because it's a tournament game and we're trying very hard, we're gonna try fix that shit immediately. Don't need the hydro. Let's just wait. Let's stop the stall, and then unpause them pretty soon afterwards. So Turbo has a bit more mass now. Looks like he's expanded more quickly than me. He is lacking power though at this point, and now going into a bit of a mass stall. So he had his economy really finely balanced there, and that can go wrong quickly, I guess. So he is really micromanaging this, like his eco quite carefully, as am I. So we see some raids come in. We're using our air scout, we're using our inties also to give us vision. Sadly gonna lose our air scout. Could have saved him by running away, but there we go. And then we have all the initial T1 land fights. We're microing over here and here and then here, and we're trying to catch stuff with the ACU. We caught one tank with the ACU, but that's all. We've lost an NG. The other NG will be allowed to live, which is quite nice. And now we gotta get more factories up once again. So we have mass building in the bank. We have had 0 successful raids. We just got caught here. We're trying to defend here and we are kind of failing. Only one tank gets past. Guess that's not too bad, but we have a couple of tanks in the back of our base now. It's quite annoying. Looks like we might have more. So Turbo doing pretty well at the start, I would say, in terms of just getting tanks into annoying positions. Gonna lose another NG there. This guy is going to hide. He's gonna try and hide. Try and get away from this tank. Probably should have moved him, you know, a lot further away there, but there's this tank. 2 kills and a veterancy. Now you can see we have nothing on his side, so this is quite it doesn't look great at this point, just in terms of the map, but in terms of economy we're actually doing pretty well. So we have probably less tanks. Let's see, 25 tanks versus 43 tanks. Okay, so we have a lot less tanks, but we have higher score. Score is not that relevant, but we do have T2 land just about finished. So again, plan is with UEF, get to T2 land pretty quick. And the sooner you're making T2 land, the more T2 units you're going to have than your opponent in the game, basically. If you start making T2 units a minute sooner than them, 2 minutes sooner than them, that's going to leave you with a big advantage. Once there are a few T2 units out there, they're really going to fall behind in terms of just the power of their army. So Turbo immediately reacts, starts upgrading quickly to T2 land. And we, as soon as we got to T2 land, start upgrading 3 factories to Tech 2 support factories. You can see we're making a mix of pillars and mongoose. So this is, I think this is the way to make the faster tech switch really matter in terms of T2 land. I mean, T3 land you can't afford to make a lot of support factories immediately. Generally, you can generally only support 1 factory, maybe 1 support factory, depending on the map, as soon as you rush to T3. But in terms of T2, on a 10x10 map with, you know, this is quite a large amount of mexes, you want to be making the support factories fast, and those are what are gonna make the rush more powerful in my view, because the initial T2 units are nice, but they're not gonna be so huge a factor, honestly, as having the larger army a few minutes later. So we already have now 4 factories producing T2 units. Turbo's also trying to get those factories up quickly, but it's behind in its production somewhat, and we've really kind of got away with having less units. And this is the thing with, you know, Badlands. Looks like we did save this guy, by the way. 6 HP as well, wow. And he made a radar back there. And only after we made the Tech 2 HQ did we start making some economy as well. So we got away with having less T1 units, and you can do that on a map like Badlands for sure. Maybe you could say it relies on the opponent making mistakes. That might be true. But it is also difficult to make 10 extra T1 units count that much on a map like this. So although it may be a mistake from Turbo, it's also a little tricky for him, has to be said. Now also on the sides, we have managed to get control of both the sides at this point. Although this looks a bit dodgy. Oh, we will kill these tanks here. So we're taking control of both the sides. Big deal on this map as well. Our air is suiciding. Turbo's not reacting though, so we just do our best to fly away. That's not really away though. We need to, you know, fly further away here. So now let's look at the army. We have 11 mongoose, 6 pillars, and we're up against 14 pillars. So my army is actually cheaper at this moment. In terms of T2 land though, we have, you know, a bit more mass. Oh, well, let's see actually, 3,500. So actually we don't have that much more in terms of T2 land units either at this point. Wow, we do have crazy mass solo. But I guess the difference is though we have mongoose. Let's see the mongoose versus pillars. Mongoose are doing pretty well right now. So we're going for a mix of mongoose and pillar. Maybe a few more mongoose and pillar. And I think this is the way to play T2 UEF, is with both of those units. Not to choose between them, but to have a good mix. Shields are lacking right now, but they're coming out. We had a factory here. This was the worst ever factory constructed, so we destroyed it. It completely ruined the pathfinding. It's just, I don't know why I placed it there. Probably fix that. So now, yeah, basically Turbo has no mongoose. I think this is a huge, maybe the main reason that he is in trouble right now, because you can see he's lost the side. He's made a nice drop and gotten a lot of kills. This was good. I mean, look, he's winning air control now. But he made a drop of 2 pillars. It's a very good move to make those T2 drops onto the sides if you've lost control of them. To try and regain them, because if you lose both of them, that hurts. Hurts your dropping, hurts your intel. So now we both have gun because, well, he will not stop the UEF. He also has nano though. So I'm up against a more powerful AC. So we're just going to retreat away, try and keep our units alive. We lost some nice mongoose there, but it's okay. Our ACU arrives at the front. And we also have T2 air, so we switch it up, make some T2 air, make some more, make a counter drop, use some gunships, and we're just defending with mongoose everywhere, trying to raid again. There's quite a big attack coming in on this side. Although looking at it now, there's actually very few T2 units. There's 4 shields, which is quite ridiculous. 1 pillar. And then the rest are T1 tanks, and he's actually going to run through. My units are totally out of position here. Very bad micro, and bad micro over here as well. Not sure what I was busy doing at this point, but clearly this is a bad mistake. Yikes. So yeah, also of course we're growing our economy. And also we're moving to T3 land. Kind of slowly. Probably... Oh yeah, that's probably what I was doing. Realizing that I had completely messed up my economy and was trying to fix that. Probably a lack of intel led to some of this attack happening. And maybe I couldn't afford this T2 Raider. So we really need to fix our economy right now. It's pretty bad, this super late T2P gen. So we're going to T3 land anyway. Once again, stay ahead in the tech race. And gunships will hopefully clean up everything at the back sooner rather than later. And we're gonna drop around to try and get the mexes back as fast as possible to make the raid as do as little damage as possible. Got some annoying mongoose running around, raiding semi-successfully. Not that successfully. Oh, 45 HP. Still AC is fighting in middle, and Turbo is actually taking a lot of damage from the mongoose. Which is interesting. But he has nano, so he should be fine. At this point we have a bit more total mass. We have... Do we have more T2 mexes? Well, we certainly have less T1 mexes. After that. Yeah, it's just kind of a silly raid to allow. But there you go. Looks like we can do some good damage on the left, and we have T3 land. Turbo also has T3 land. He used a lot more assistance. I think he balanced his economy better, I'd say. He has more power, that's for sure. Oh no, we finished our third P-gen as well. But that's an unnecessary amount of energy, I would say. Wow. I didn't realize I did that. It's pretty expensive. It's going to be 1500 mass there. Total, and it can all die if one of them dies, so not advisable, this stuff right here. That's something worth shielding nearly, or at least putting under a shield. So it looks like we just retreated our units. I guess I thought I could have actually gotten through there, but I didn't have intel. So I thought better not to waste the units. Feel like I'm in a decent position. If I donate almost 2,000 mass worth of units, then maybe I'm just behind. So without intel, I did kill an expansion for a small amount of time and then just retreated the units. Turbo still trying to get as much value as he can out of his ACU, basically. So we get the NGs to the front, start making PDs. It's kind of a lot of PDs that aren't going to do too much, but making PDs is quite good. Pick up the pillars on the side, start dropping to the back. These are the pillars that were dropped onto the plateau earlier. So they're quite damaged. And again, the game is still very even, so we have 3 Percys. We have nearly 50 pillars right now. There is still pillar production happening, which is not great. 2 factories still producing pillars, and 1 factory producing flax only, no shields. Meanwhile, we have 27 pillars but 31 mongoose. We only have 2 Percys right now, so we're a bit behind on the Percys, but we do have spearheads. So I made the spearheads specifically to kill these guys. They're great for, I mean, they do insane damage to a ton of things, but they are really good at killing T3 artillery. You can see there's so many shields here. It's really a ridiculous amount of shields, but we did actually still manage to get through and kill that T3 artillery. And a spearhead only costs 400 mass, so it's probably way too cheap a unit, honestly. For being honest, it should be more expensive. But it isn't at this point. So we have a support factory. We're actually still making pillars and mongoose as well. Also not ideal for us. But again, the position, you know, still playable for both of us, but I feel like I'm getting a bit of a lead at this point. Again, the sides are great. And just give me such good vision. So I have radars on the sides, and then I have T2 radar right in the middle of the map somewhere. Here it is. So I can see most things that are happening in the map. Gets a whole lot easier to react. Kind of wasted several gunships there. Meanwhile, on the side, we're going to see something really important, which is mongoose. I mean, there's no shields here, which is quite bad, but what we're seeing is mongoose transitioning into the T3 stage are more useful, in my view, than pillars by a long way. And this is really important because we have like half and half. Still have a ton of pillars and mongoose, and T2 units don't become useless. They don't become useless at the T3 stage. They become way less useful, but not useless. And in terms of pillars versus mongoose, I think mongoose is much better at when the T3 land starts to come out than the pillar. So you can see the spearheads have done pretty well. This guy has 1400 mass skill, nearly 1500. You can see we're retreating away. We have, again, defender's advantage. We've sent all our Percys pretty much to here. We have a couple on the left, and we have a lot on the right now. And Turbo's committing to something that he is regretting already. So we can see there's some dead Percys, and really Turbo is just making a bad attack here. He doesn't have vision, no T2 radar for him, no radar on the left side at all. Now imagine if he had this, if he had one of the plateaus, how much easier it would be for him to do pretty much anything. But at this point I have the plateaus, and I have the middle with the spearheads, with the firebase. So, I mean, he could have better intel. He could have radars forward, he could have air scouts patrolling in. But in general it's difficult for him to make things happen. And he committed to something, and you can see the attack completely failed. And the pillars especially contributed 0 to what was happening. Absolutely nothing. While my mongoose all have damage done, and we're all firing a lot of shots away at the Percys specifically, as well as some other units. So now, I mean, I've just grown my lead there a bit. We now have 16 Percys versus 17. So still Turbo has more T3 land. Somehow this is just what happens to me. I'm always behind on units. It is a mystery. Well, I guess not. I do have a T3 max, so that's takes away some of the mystery, I guess. Turbo now making his T3 max. But okay, he made a T2 radar now as well, but on the right hand side we're about to see probably the most important point in the game. So you can see we have 4 Percys here for Turbo, now 3. The army he's up against though is, I mean, there's a ton of Percys here. And we have 9 here, we lost a couple, so huge number of Percys on the right hand side I had. And we took an amazing fight here. Really good trades. You can see the kill death ratio is like 1.6, 1.5 now, which is a huge differential. And I would put that down to, some of it is simply down to just units in better position, but also it's having mongoose trading well at T2 stage and even trading well at T3 stage. So now we have to maintain control of this position here. What is that? Is that TML? Alright, I'm trying to TML the support factory there, I guess. We do have some stealth TML base. This didn't really do too much, I think. So we find more Percys. Picking off a Percy like this is exactly what you need to be trying to do. And you can see he's getting split now, so he has some units on the right hand side. There goes another Percy, and the Percy dies basically for free. And again, we're sending more Percy reinforcements. On the left hand side, we have enough to defend. 12 Percys, and again the reinforcements. Drops coming in. He can't push here. He also has no intel, so the Percys can't even use their range. And at this point, we're just snowballing into quite an easy win. Well, not easy. I mean, it took 30 minutes of a close game, so let's not say easy win. But at this point, the game is pretty much won. Just from, well, from snowballing the Percy fights. And you can see the ratio is only going up now. We're nearly at 1.8 kill ratio. Ooh, 4 vets. The other guy, I think, had more kills, but this guy's 2,500 mass kill. He's almost got his 5th vet. The right side is dead now, the right side expansion. And we have shield on our ACU, that's snipe protection, basically. 4,600 mass kills. How did it suddenly kill 2,000 more mass. What the hell happened? Well, anyway. Now we're walking into the expansion. All these Percys are just vets in the true sense. And there's nothing to stop me walking through this expansion now, and that should be game over. And yeah, that was quite a good game. I think I performed pretty well here overall. This the losing stuff to like T1 tanks, all these, this raid on the left, that was the biggest error, I would say. But you can see how quickly like a Percy, these T3 Percy battles can snowball. Because I think it's because the Percy has so much of an alpha strike that you can just start losing Percys for free and take extremely bad trades once you're in the wrong position, or if you are, you know, slightly behind on units. And also the control we had on the map was really important. Like having both plateaus was extremely beneficial, always is on Badlands. And then having as fire base, I mean, we invested a decent amount of mass. I mean, this, I don't know why this BD is here. Probably for some attack that was coming in. Probably that initial attack that he was making. But, you know, it's not that big an investment, because what you get out of it is control the middle, and then sort of one arena you don't have to worry about. This plateaus on the side allow us to, you know, see everything that's coming on the sides, and so with the intel you can react accordingly and feel under a lot less pressure in the game. You never feel panicked too much. Everything's under control and you can focus on just taking the good fights and winning the game. So that's 2-0. I win this best of 3. And this was the first series in the tournament for me, so I was pretty happy with how this went. And yeah, so we get a series win in the group stage, Group A. Let me know what you think of the video. If you'd rather me cast over the POV, that's definitely possible for future games. And yeah, that's it. Hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Have a good one, guys.